Oh shit. Here we go again.
Hello and welcome to part 3 of What If Deku Was a King's Vessel? Uh, Thank you guys on your support in the last video as well, and hey, I'd like to say thanks if people are tuning in after the live stream earlier today. Sorry for the late part being put out. If those of you who don't know, tomorrow I'll be putting out the live stream part from yesterday on Ground's channel. All of us had fun doing it, and I'm glad people came and watched my channel after I linked myself. And yeah, well, I think that's enough, well, promotion. I'd like to say thank you for supporting me, and we're almost getting me to 100 subs, which is kind of amazing for somebody who's not even 2 weeks into this yet. And yeah, thank you for your continued support. I always appreciate people leaving comments, likes, and yeah, I'm just having fun with the YouTube thing so far, and I would just like to give one big final thank you before I get into this. Alright, now let's get into the juicy stuff. When we left off in our last part, we had gone through the entrance exam. Izuku passed the written exam he thought with flying colours, and when it came to the battle in the city with all the robots, he got a head start before anybody else realised. Collected up quite a few points, and had rescued a pink-haired girl after eviscerating the giant zero-point robot. Everybody was in awe at his sheer strength and power, yet people didn't actually know that it was very uncontrolled and unrefined. So this is where we're going to be getting the part 3. We are going to skip to the first day of UA. Izuku walks through the front gates with a determined look in his eyes as he was looking around for the Class 1A. He was quite confused about, well, where to find this class, but then he came face to face with a giant door. Wow, that's a big door. Are there giants in this class? Is this for every class? He took a deep breath and opened the door with a confident attitude as he looked around and saw the blue-haired boy the from the test. He's in here too, and Bakugo as well. He could see. Bakugo looked quite annoyed and was like, "How the fuck did you get in here, you shitty nerd?" "I got in with my skills, Bakugo. Now lay off." The spawn spiky-haired boy, obviously very annoyed at this remark, just grunts to himself and's like, I'll make you pay for that later, you shitty nerd." Ito had gone up to Deku and introduced himself. "Hi, I'm Tenya Ito. I am very sorry about what I said during the entrance exam. It was clearly wrong of me. You're a far superior student than I am. As you noticed the rescue points." "Yes, I did notice the rescue points, but it is still the job of a hero to rescue people. Even if it wasn't a test, I would have done the same." Ito looked up in just sheer amazement and reconfigured and pushes the glass back up. "Ah, yes, that is true. Ah, well, you are even a better student than I ever hoped to be." He turned around after hearing a very calm and gentle voice calling, saying something from behind. Excuse me." He turned around very sheepishly. He saw a girl with scarlet eyes and pinkish red hair looking up at him. Hello. Oh, it's you. Um, yes, I would like to say thank you for for a few weeks ago. It's no problem. I would have done, anyone would have done that in my shoes. But yes, but I'd still like to thank you anyway. Are you quite alright? You passed out after saving me." Bucko, hearing it, laughs. Of course he would pass out. He's fucking weak. The girl turned her head to the side. How's he weak? He destroyed the robot. Yeah, one robot doesn't mean he is strong. I could have done that easily. I'm not talking about the 1-point robot, or the other two. I'm talking about the 0-point robot. You think you're funny. You're not really, the angry boy replied. Don't kid yourself, that loser can't even fucking touch a fly. Ida and the pink-haired girl, now introducing herself as Morgiana, quickly turn around and says, I don't know what you know of him, or if you just happen to know each other through some other place, but he destroyed the upper part of the 0-point robot completely. It was burned to ashes. Fucking what? I don't care if you're just trying to stick up for him because he's a weak, quirkless nobody, but you're starting to piss me off now. Before anybody else can say anything, they noticed Horace quickly interjected into Izuku's mind. There's somebody behind you. He's on the ground. He's the teacher at 1A, I think. I can sense him staring at us. Izuku turns around and notices on the floor. Are you the teacher? Everybody, startled, looks at the ground to see a man in a yellow body bag, almost like a caterpillar. He gets out of it and says, It took you way too long for all of you to shut up. That won't fly in my classroom. Now everybody, put on your PE uniforms and out to the field. A few others in the class, a boy with a lightning bolt in his hair, is like, why? Don't we have to go to orientations? I can do whatever the hell I like. UA isn't a normal school, and I ain't a normal teacher. So you better do what I say before I expel you. Everybody just shrugging it off, thinks that he was just trying to make a joke to get us on our feet. They all went into the locker rooms and just decided to follow along. As they made it into the locker rooms, a red-haired boy pointed to Midoriya and said, Wow, dude, you're pretty ripped. Yeah, I guess, he nervously replied. I just did a bit of training over the summer holidays. He was quite nervous talking to new students, often jumbling up his words. I'm Kirishima. You're very manly. I hope we can be friends. I'm Izuku Midoriya. And as the rest of the guys are introducing them to each other, they head out onto the field, where Aizawa is waiting. So, I'm gonna tell you all now. Anybody who comes last in these fitness tests will be expelled. No exceptions. Everybody looking quite worried, but that's unfair. Well, kiddo, that's how life is. If you make a mistake, you pay for it. If you come in last, how can you expect to save anybody? No, I assume you have to give it your all, otherwise you'll be expelled from my classroom. All the students, very, very wary, turn to each other and look at each other with confusion. Midoriya decides to speak up and says, Come on, we know he isn't kidding. I can tell. How can you tell? I have a habit of knowing when somebody's lying. He's not. Well, okay. We should do our best. Everybody else started mumbling to themselves. Let's see. Midoriya. Since you got first place in the exam, you should throw the ball first. And Bakugo, after hearing that this quirkless nobody he grew up with all his life around got first place, was infuriated and enraged. What? He was first. I thought I was first. How could anybody, especially that quirkless loser, be in front of me? He started to go and angrily attack the boy. However, he was wrapped and very quickly caught up in this silk mesh that was encircling his body, quickly restraining him. Now, violence is unbecoming of a hero and doesn't fly in my class either. I'll let you off with a warning. Do that again and I'll kick you out now. Bakugo quickly restrained himself and just furiously watched from the sidelines. Oh, so do you want me to go all out? Yes, that's the point of these tests. What's the point if you don't go all out? Well, I'm worried I might destroy the ball. Those balls are made of titanium on the inside and the outside coating is made from protective silica gel. It shouldn't burn or disintegrate easily. I've heard you have a fire quirk. So it should be able to withstand your flames. That's not what I was worried about. He raised an eyebrow at this, but doesn't bother to ask. And he asks him to step into the ring and now throw the ball. Midoriya decides to not use the Jin equip and just throw in his regular human form. So when he throws the ball, it still went quite far. The ball went about 850 meters, but then Aizawa was quite surprised and infuriated. I couldn't stop his quirk, but that's not the only problem. Hey! Listen here, I told you to do your best and you're holding back. Everybody was quite shocked. However, two of the students knew what he was talking about. And they were whispering to themselves, I know what he's talking about, but why didn't he use it? And so he told Izuku, you better do that trick again, otherwise I'm booting you out now. I told you to do your best and don't think I ain't kidding myself. With a deep breath and sigh and says, okay, I'm sorry. Horus! And a bright, brilliant flame engulfs the boy and then turns him into his Jin equip. Now that's what I wanted to see. Now throw again, as he tosses him another ball. Channel, do not burn, don't burn. He gathers up all the flames into his hands he can without damaging his or tiring his body, and decides to launch it behind the ball. When he does so, the flames erupt in a massive burst, sending a shockwave. Everybody's hair is blowing back due just to the wind pressure. Aizawa was quite shocked. He saw what the kid did, but he also knew that caused him to faint, as that probably was his trump card. But just him concentrating flames, and he could hear him mumbling, don't break, don't break. He thought he was talking about his skin or his arms. No, but he was talking about the ball. He realized. He looked at the screen's monitor and, quite shocked and in awe, 11,000 meters. Everybody, after hearing the number, went wild. How strong is he? A boy from the back with white and red hair started to pique interest in his power. So, he has power over fire. He must be like him. And other students as well, just in awe and going, wow, I didn't know you're that strong. My quirk must look very bad compared to yours. And Midoriya didn't want to make anybody feel worthless like he did. It's like, no, my quirk is powerful, but it has drawbacks. it burns up a lot of my energy, and I can only use it for a certain period, or I can only use a certain amount of flames. And this isn't all I can do. This is just what I can do without harming my body or destroying everything. So I fail at control. Whereas you guys have had your quirk for a long time, I haven't had mine for nearly as long. And everybody was starting to get more energetic and into the forums. He said, "Sir, and Midoriya just asked, "Sir, can I continue the rest of the test without the form? It takes a lot out of me, and it can be very bad. If I go through this whole test, I end up fainting again." Aizawa takes exception to this because he has already seen more than he had needed to, and just lets him do what the boy wants. As the rest of the tests go as normal, except, well, of course, Midoriya. His body has more physical prowess. He can partially change and take attributes of his Jin equip into his regular human form, allowing him to use fire to propel himself, or be able to have the strength. And so he gains a lot of the upper hand in most aspects. He lost to Ida in running, but in tests like side-to-side jumps and high jump as well as long jump, he was quite superior. However, there was one student that seemed to be very, very close to him in all these aspects. It was the pink-haired girl. Morgiana I think was her name. She's very strong. I wonder what her quirk is. Strength enhancement, superhuman abilities. So, just being the most curious and insightful person he is, he decides to ask her, "Morgiana, I hope you don't mind, but what is your quirk?" "My quirk is called Funalise. It's a descendant-based quirk for some reason. It only runs in my family's bloodline. We all have the same power, except it gets stronger and stronger. I am the 8th generation of this quirk, and it allows my body to have extreme power from muscle contention, as well as hypersensitive, senses. I can smell things from up to a kilometer away. I can hear things up to the 18,000 decibel range, and I can also see for over a mile." "Wow, that's quite a quirk. I'm sure it must be very taxing on your body." Yes, you could say that. I had to eat like a beast, and people made fun of me for it. And often it leads to very aggressive natures in my family. However, I seem to be quite timid. Well, I'm glad you're alright after everything that happened. How about you and I be friends? I was bullied too when I was younger, and I think you're quite pretty." He didn't know why he said that, he just did. "Ah, I see, boy. Me being inside you has instilled you with more confidence." He just thought to himself, "Wait, I said that? I really said that?" The pink-haired girl blushed and said, "Really? No one's ever said that to me before. They usually just get scared." "You're not scary at all, Morgiana. In fact, you're one of the most normal people I've ever met. And you're very nice." "Thank you." After all the tests were done, Aizawa then says, "Okay, who got last? Toru Hagakure. You're expelled for being last on the tests." I wasn't kidding, nor was I trying to make it any less fun for you people thinking this is just a game. This is the real world and it has consequences. I was going to, at first, just let everybody just try and do their best. But after I saw that shabby display in the classroom earlier, I decided not to give any second chances. Alright, class dismissed for the day. I need a nap. After going back to classroom and getting changed and heading home for the day, Izuku decided to walk to the station. He saw Morgiana and decided to talk with her more. Hey, Morgiana. Going to the station too? Yes, my home is in prefecture, south of here. Oh, no kidding, mine is too. Want to walk me to the station? Sure. Your quirk is quite amazing, Izuku said. I think so too. About yours? What is it called? I call it Jin. It allows me to transform my body in partially or completely into what I base on a power or element. For some reason, I've been told that it has more potential to have other elements as well, but I think I might have just gotten the fire from my father. Who knows? It might develop into something in the future, the doctor said, but we'll have to wait and see. Wow, that certainly does sound amazing. From what I saw, you completely destroyed the robot. Yeah, but that was a last-ditch effort. I'm just trying to save you. I saw that you were able to pull up the rubble, but you kept getting pushed down by the robot. It was amazing that you were able to hold out for so long. Yeah, the strength from my quirk certainly does come in handy, but I always used to hate it. Don't hate yourself because of something you can't control. It's your quirk. You shouldn't be afraid of it. You shouldn't let others think that you are a monster or whatever they called you. You are just a normal person, and you decide to make good with your quirk. And I see that as the most courageous thing. Morgiana blushes a bit and just continues chatting along the way after being ambushed by Ida from behind. And so the three of them walked to the station all together, having a conversation and just having a bunch of laughs about what happened today. The next day rolls around and the students are all in class as All Might says, coming through the door very abruptly, I am entering like a normal person. Everybody just thought that's not normal. Okay, ladies and gentlemen. Our lesson for today is Heroes vs. Villains Combat Practice. And as they say in the industry, clothes make the pros. So we've all submitted your designs through, we've all submitted them through what you drafted us. And they got approved, so here are your costumes. As he hands out costumes to everybody but Izuku. Everybody wondered, where's your costume? Well, as you saw yesterday, I can't really wear clothes with my equip, because they will just turn to, they will get turned into whatever I'm wearing when I transform. And so I can only just wear normal basic attire. So combat boots and pants, as well as a long sleeve shirt, is usually just what I wear. I see. Well, at least you don't have to worry about making a design, especially when you're transformed. You look very, very cool. He kind of smirks at this and's like, I guess. And then proceeds to walk out into the combat field. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we shall draw lots. We are doing heroes vs villains. and we will each team up and, well, two in pairs. One team will be the heroes trying to either capture the villains or capture the bomb. The villains, well, they have to stop the heroes. And so after drawing lots, they all got put into teams. And the first match was Bakugo and Ida as the villains versus Deku and Morgiana. So, after entering the building, Izuku says, I reckon you should go around and face Ida by yourself. Why is that? Well, as you probably saw, Bakugo doesn't like me very much. And I know him. After yesterday, he's gonna come flying at me with an assault straight away. I know it. Okay, I'll go with what you say. Just be careful not to get attacked by him too badly. Oh, you don't have to worry about me. Just make sure that they don't get hurt too much by Ida, and try not to get noticed by Bakugo. I'll give you the signal to move out the way when we start. Okay. As the siren goes off and they all start preparing to head inside. As soon as they got to the second floor, Izuku could hear explosions ringing throughout the hallways. Morgiana, now! And Morgiana ducked to the side, now out of the sight of explosions that are going through the corridor. Then out pops a angry and furious Bakugo, zooming towards Deku. Alright, shitty nerd, this is for yesterday! And then flies directly at him with a flurry of explosions. Before the explosions could reach him, he calls out, Horus! As the flames envelop his body and then transforms into his Geniquip. And when Buck goes right up close to Deku, he decides to grab his arm and fling him to the ground, smashing him into it, leaving a small crater. Ah! What the hell? I'm not the same weak, quirkless loser you thought I am, Bakugo. I have a quirk now, and I'm going to show you that you cannot bully me anymore. As Deku quickly signals for Morgiana to move past while Bakugo is still laying on the ground, he was wondering, how didn't you get hurt? I fired an explosion right in your face. Izuku said, explosions are just fire with more force. In this form I don't have much weakness to fire. And then Bakugo had a worried expression. Shit, then that means I just had to hit you harder, huh? So Bakugo just kept on throwing very furious punches with explosions. A few of them landed and hit Izuku, but not many had much of effect. He just looked back and slammed him harder with his fists and shot fireballs directly at him. Thanks to his agileness of his quirk and being able to use the explosions to dodge out the way, he was able to avoid most of the fire. His costumes got singed a bit, but nothing he couldn't endure. I've been examining all your moves, Kachan. Do you really think that you, after all this time, haven't revealed all your tricks? Oh, I'm quite sure, you loser, that I haven't shown all my hand. As Bakugo starts laughing maniacally as he pulls back the gauntlet's trigger pin and reveals a tiny pin. I don't think that fire immunity is going to help you with that much force coming directly at you. Take this, shitty nerd. Die! And as All Might is screaming into the mic, "Bakugo, don't!" He pulls the pin and a giant explosion rings out through the building, completely tearing up the hallways. And what he saw next shocked him. Not a single scratch was left on Izuku's body. Not one scratch. Just fire enveloping his body. That was a reckless move, Kachan. Any normal person would have been killed. Do you really call yourself a hero? If it wasn't for the fact that I have now become stronger, I certainly would have died. What would you have done then? You can't weasel your way out of this one. As Izuku just grabs him by the collar and slams him into the ground, knocking him out. As then he quickly rushes up the floors, flying through the corridors, increasing the speed with the fire. Morgiana was currently locked in combat with Ida. She was going blow for blow with his legs, as he kept trying to use a kick against her side, but Morgiana, having sharper senses, was able to see it coming from a mile away and block with her own kick. She cracked his armor. That's how hard she was kicking. Ah! What are your legs made of? Iron? Not quite, but it's certainly enough to break your armor. Ida just kept firing kick after kick, trying to catch her off guard with his speed. She was able to keep up, but just narrowly, as Izuku burst through the corridor. I've got you now. As he shoots down the hallway with his leg outstretched and kicked Ida right in the gut after propelling himself with the flames. Pyro kick! As he sends him to the wall flying, making a crater and indenting it. He goes over and touches the bomb. All Might calls out on the radio, "Heroes win!" And as their tests were over, he helped Ida back up. Sorry for the hard kick. No problem. We weren't really told to hold back. Oh, you hit really hard. You know that? Yeah, I didn't. I tried not to hurt you too much, but it's the only way I could get you knocked down. Well, down for the count. I'm more worried about Bakugo, though. I don't think he's woken up yet. I'll take him to recovery go afterwards. I reckon that's best. After Izuku begrudgingly slung Bakugo over his shoulder and took him to recovery go, he passed All Might and says, "Sir, I'm going to go take him to the nurse's office. He's going to be out of it for a while." "Okay, young man." I'm glad to see that you're alright at least. I'm sure even I would have taken quite a bit of damage. Well, I don't think, but he was asking All Might, wait, you didn't, you're lying, you know I wouldn't have taken damage. Ah, yeah, well, I guess what is was true. You can tell if there's a lie. I'm sorry for deceiving you, young man, but I could see on the video cameras after watching the footage back to wondering why he didn't take any damage. I could see he put up a sort of lens of fire. Yeah, it's a trick I learned by accident. I was moving a car around off of the beach near where I live, and the gas was still in and exploded. On instinct, I reacted by creating a wall of fire. Without realizing, I condensed it to the point where the explosion would just bend around me. I see. So that's why the hallway behind you was, except for the spot you were standing in, was completely eviscerated. Yes. Sometimes you find new things when you're discovering them by accident. Well, young man, I'm impressed by your display. If you don't mind taking young Bakugo to the nurse's office, I'll give him a stern talking to. Alright, sir. And after Izuku had placed him back in nurse's office, he went back to watch the fight. Morgiana came up to him and says, "Are you alright? I saw what happened on the recordings. Are you hurt anywhere?" "No, I'm alright. Uh, being immune to, well, being resistant to fire really does help, especially with somebody that has explosions." I guess that's true. How about you? How's your body holding up after taking a kick from Ida? It's quite alright. I'm used to harsh training with my dad, who has the same strength as me, so you can just imagine how hard he kicks. Yeah, I can imagine. Well, why? So you train with your dad? Yeah, well, we have the same quirk, so it's only natural. I see. And after having a conversation, they decided to go back and watch the rest of the team matches. Now these all go the same as in relatively as canon, and so he, he decides to watch the rest of the matches with close intrigue with his hero notebook. People just looked at him and wondered what he was doing, but just didn't pay him too much mind. Okay, that's quite cool. He would say every so often, often jotting something down in his notebook. Morgiana saw this and just laughed. And towards the end of the day, he was he was he was walking back home when he saw the old man from the, well, Gran Torino from a few weeks ago. "Hey, you kiddo, how have you been?" "Gran Torino? What are you doing here?" "Well, I saw that Toshinori was now in town, so I came to give him a visit." "So did you get into UA or what?" Yes." "Ah, good on ya." That boy, when he was young, barely even passed the exam, so that shows you had a enormous potential ahead of you." "That boy, are you talking about All Might?" "Yeah, back in my prime days, I used to train the boy, and uh, if I'm pretty sure he can have to shit his pants if you just mention my name." "Oh well, I see that you're quite busy on the way home, and you've got someone there with you." Izuku thinks, "What?" He turns around and sees Morgiana peering around the corner. "Oh, hey Morgiana." As he waves over, and she quickly averts her gaze for a second, and then gives her a smile and wave back. "Ah, I see. Not even a few days in, you've already got a crush on you." Izuku just plays it off. No, it's not like that." "Ah, to be young. Well, I'll let you get at it. Wouldn't want to keep you and your girlfriend waiting." Izuku just says, "No, no, 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 it's not like that." He's like, I'm just messing with you. Don't let this old man get you caught in a twist." He laughs and walks off, and bidding the boy a good day. After he walks over and says, "Hey Morgiana, were you waiting for me?" Uh, yeah, kind of. I was trying to catch up to you when the old man started talking to you. Is he a friend or a relative of yours?" Uh, he's a friend, I guess." Confused, she just goes along. It's like, okay. "Well, wanna walk to the station together?" "Sure, why not?" And so the two walk to the station and then eventually bid each other a good night as they part ways. Izuku was quite excited to tell his dad how he did in the exam over the phone, as he was currently now in Sicily, on his way back over from Greece. He had stopped by in Italy for a few days before taking the next trip back to Japan. So he was currently just staying overnight. He told Hisashi the great news, and Hisashi was like, "Oh, that's great! I told you, with enough patience and effort, and with a bit of help from Horus, you could go anywhere. You're gonna be a fine hero." Horus rings in his head and is like, "I think so too, Hisashi. You realize he can't hear you through the phone, or you're talking in my head." "Oh, right, I need to get used to this phone of yours." Is Horace trying to talk to me again? Yeah, he still doesn't understand the whole phone thing. And after laughing about it for a bit, he bids his dad a good night, and Hisashi says, "I'm very proud of you, son. Good night, and I can't wait to see you when I get back." So after a long rest, he thinks to himself every night, "I've become a lot stronger over these past 10 months, but what about these other djinns in the world? What am I going to do? How am I going to find them?" So he just thinks to himself before heading to bed. And this is where we are going to leave off the part 3 of this what if. Just before I end this part, I am going to say, yes, I have replaced Ochako with Morgiana in this what if, and yeah, so because I'm pretty sure Crown would be proud of me if he heard this, which I'm sure he'll probably watch it, and the rest of everybody, but I do not like Ochako one bit, and Morgiana is, if you ever watched, Magi is the best girl, hands down. You can fight me in the comments for that, but I stand by what I say. So yeah, Morgiana best girl, but thank you for watching. Leave a comment if you liked the video. You don't have to like or you don't have to subscribe, but just I am looking forward to releasing another what if next week, and yeah, maybe I might be releasing another one before that if we hit 100 before then. So yeah, thank you and bye.